So I saw this chart not too long ago that showcased how ever since the start of 2026, there has been over 100,000 developers that have committed to ICP. Now, nothing I say is financial advice, but why do I think this matters? Well, it's because first of all, if let's say a lot of developers want to build on a certain place, what happens? Usually if they build things and it has good adoption, attention increases, right? If attention increases, notoriety increases, the popularity of the project could also indirectly increase as well. That could be pretty awesome in my opinion. But of course, that type of stuff takes time. But I feel like there's no time limit for me to wait, right? I could quite essentially wait for the next 10 or 15 years if I wanted to, but I'm just saying there's really no time limit for me to how long I should have to wait, basically. So I feel like if this type of stuff may take quite a while, my mindset is more long term, anyways. So I still do like seeing this despite ICP being below $3 as of right now. However, let's keep in mind when it comes to this developer activity chart, basically, ICP did lose out to some other big players. I mean, there's no denying that, right? I mean, it lost out to the BNB chain. It lost out to Cardano, Ethereum, Polkadot, Arbitrum, Optimism. But that's fine. I mean, it's like losing to Tom Brady. It's like, it's okay, right? It's tolerable. That's the way to take a look at it. But you know what? ICP actually had more developer activity, again, in 2026 so far when compared to Solana. Now, that's pretty impressive, right? Compared to also something like Near, compared to Avalanche, Hedera, Sui, and also Aptos, and even Algorand as well. That's pretty impressive in my opinion. That many developers out there choosing ICP basically, that's pretty impressive. And achieving something like that actually in 2026 more specifically, it's not that easy. I mean, ever since the start of 2026, the altcoin space really didn't do the best. I mean, okay, we're seeing a slight recovery as of right now when it comes to projects in general, but it's mostly still like concentrated just towards Bitcoin as of right now and to a certain extent Ethereum, but we haven't really seen it trickle down in any sort of significant way, at least hypothetically maybe yet, right? So I'm still waiting, but at the same time, seeing something like this is pretty impressive because first of all, if the space isn't doing the best, developers typically don't really want to enter, usually from what I can see. A lot of them just don't want to bother spending a lot of time, resources, and energy, especially if the market isn't doing the best. But yet still, seeing over 100,000 developers commit to ICP ever since the start of 2026, that's pretty impressive. 100,000, I mean, we got to think about that, right? Many stadiums can't even fit nowhere near that many people. So this is pretty impressive in my opinion. Now, again, I just want to clarify, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I think this, if anything, may showcase the fundamentals when it comes to the internet computer. Because, of course, Dfinity, we do see them have this really big focus when it comes to AI, and a lot of developers, as of right now, they do want to focus on AI. So, of course, a place like the internet computer, which has an aspect of AI, it doesn't really surprise me that this many developers are caring about ICP. Will this be a prolonged thing? I mean, we'll wait and see. But I do like the sound of this so far. I mean, okay, sure, people like to tell me, no one's really going to care about ICP. A lot of developers don't really care about this. Well, I tend to disagree. If over 100,000 developers literally chose ICP ever since 2026, or should I say committed to it, that's really impressive. Like, okay, I think first of all, that may showcase that a lot of people still maybe care about ICP. And furthermore, I feel like they care about the fundamentals too when it comes to this, because if they didn't, why would they choose it, right? Some may choose it because of popularity, but ICP is not really that popular. So I feel like if that's out of the question, it basically just boils down to the fundamentals of ICP, which I do like personally. This is just the way to take a look at it. Now, is ICP ever going to overtake like the BNB chain, especially during this cycle? No, I just don't see that, right? I mean, seems very far-fetched at this point, but the thing is, it doesn't even really need to do that, right? If ICP could just kind of maintain its positioning, kind of its presence, kind of its notoriety as of right now heading into an altcoin season maybe, or let's say if sentiments were to return back to previous levels when it comes to ICP, like what we saw in 2025 or 2024, really, I mean, what more can I even ask for, right? Or what more could I even want to ask for, I should say. There's going to be really none at that point because ICP being below $3, if it goes back to like $10, I'm going to Sizzler, goes to like back to $15, which we even saw not that long ago, right? I'm going to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. That's the way to take a look at it. Maybe going to Cancun as well because they have a Ruth's Chris actually in Cancun in Mexico. But I'm saying I just thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, besides that point as well, though, when I take a look at something like the computer, people like to tell me that, again, it's just not good. But if the charts are the only thing that it's being based off of, then okay, yeah, maybe it doesn't look good because it's below $3. But in terms of the fundamentals, I don't see it as such a bad project. It still has an aspect, right, of decentralized AI, which I find pretty interesting. I mean, imagine being able to, let's say, hypothetically run AI models entirely on chain. Isn't that pretty interesting in my opinion? Entirely on chain, right? Again, a lot of other projects out there, you just can't do that. The reason why is because a lot of projects out there simply don't have the computational, power to facilitate something like that. That requires a lot of computational demand. The internet computer, unlike some other projects out there, they were built with that taken into consideration. It's like the way you take a look at it is this. If let's say I'm trying to build like a 20-story building, of course the foundation is going to have to be different than if it's like a 2-story building, right? Some other projects out there, they were kind of built for a 2-story type of style in terms of the building. So it's just a little bit different. That's the way you take a look at it. So when people like to say, oh, if the internet computer has an aspect of decentralized AI, who cares about that? Well, a lot of developers, first of all, I think would care about that. And if anything, I think that showcases the foresight of something like Dfinity because, again, some other projects out there, they're starting to focus on that right now, but they weren't really built for that. But this one is actually, I think, built for, things running fully on chain. Like, for instance, running AI models entirely on chain. That's the way to take a look at it. So I feel like it's actually better equipped to handle the AI narrative when compared to some other projects out there in some cases, not in every single case, but in some cases that I do see. So as of right now, personally for me, there isn't really much I can do when it comes to ICP, but the way you take a look at it is that it's just a waiting thing for me as of right now. It's like watching paint dry. The way you take a look at it seems very boring, at first glance, but there's things to do, right? While I'm waiting for paint to dry, basically. I can do other things. I can hang out with my friends, I can do activities. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. Maybe I run outside, I jog. Again, there's a bunch of possibilities. But this one, when it comes to this space, sometimes the waiting may take quite a while. But I'm prepared to do that because that's what I set out to do anyways. I knew that I was going to have to wait for quite a while. So I'm still waiting. But there really isn't like too much I can do actually as of right now other than wait, right? I mean, sure, I'm still dollar cost averaging once a month, but that's just the routine I was already doing anyways. But as of right now, I'm still waiting. But yeah, if I still see over 100,000 developers basically commit to ICP, at least from this chart that I recently saw, I do find that to be a pretty interesting achievement actually in the grand scheme of things. I mean, if ICP loses out to the BNB chain, Optimism, Arbitrum, Cardano, Ethereum, Polkadot, then so be it, right? It's like losing to Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Troy Aikman, Dan Marino. It's like, okay, fine. It is what it is. But still, it's pretty impressive. That's the way to take a look at it. Still having over 100,000 developers commit to ICP ever since 2026. Again, I do find that to be pretty impressive. Sure, it's not the best out there in terms of the figures, but, I'm still happy nonetheless seeing that. But yeah, I'll be sure to make more updates when it comes to ICP if there are any, so hopefully I'll stay tuned for that. I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Willie the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.